If you feel anxious all the time and you don't even know why, it's not your fault. Because anxiety is such a complex thing, it's a combination of different layers, from mental breakdown to physical exhaustion. I'm not a therapist, but I spent years being overwhelmed, overstimulated, scared of life, and not knowing how to figure it out. But today my life feels so much more peaceful, and I want to share my experience and my therapy insights, and you will find out what exact layer is stressing you out the most. Let's start with something that most people overlook, because in many times your mental anxiety can actually be caused by your nervous system as a reaction to physical stress, such as dehydration, unbalanced diet, low or inconsistent blood sugar, a lot of caffeine, too little sleep, too little movement, overstimulation by either noises, people, tasks, whatever is in your environment. So of course there will be some days when you will feel bad and low energized, not because really something happened, but you didn't take care of your physical body. So here are a couple of things that you can do for a quick reset. Starting off with warm homemade meal. There is something magical about consuming warm meal, especially in a cold season. It just makes you so grounded and more present, especially if you eat at home slowly, not being distracted by any media, maybe sharing it with your family. It gives you so much more peace in the contrast of you grabbing a sandwich and eating it in 5 minutes because you're already rushing to your next task. Second is movement. I am not a gym rat in any sense, but even a couple of minutes of light stretching after hours of sitting at the same spot will give some relaxation. Of course, walking on nature, I think, is the best way to calm your nerves. Whatever exercise you choose, give yourself time to connect to your body, to feel every different parts of it, and don't be bothered with anything else happening in your life for that particular moment. Third is a very quick reset, and it's simply breathing. We tend to breathe with our chest, which is way shallower than our deep breathing from our belly. And if you do it only for 2 minutes, it will already calm you down. Fourth, don't forget about hydration. Especially if you like coffee, don't forget that you need more water after you drink it. And fifth is no phones allowed 20-30 minutes after you wake up and before you go to sleep. This is actually what helped me the most, creating those small tiny routines for every transition that I need. From waking up, start working, getting home, getting ready for the evening, anytime your brain switches environments. It doesn't need to be long or static. Pick a couple of physical routines that make you feel safe, make you feel like home. Maybe it's switching lights, or brewing yourself a cup of tea, or maybe styling your hair, whatever you choose. Remember that your mind and body are the same system. If you stabilize one, it helps another. Next layer is your schedule. A psychologist told me once that most of people are anxious because they set themselves for failure while over-planning. Be honest, how many things you usually put in your to-do list? I used to put 12. Let's compare how delusional we are. And of course, in most of cases, I wasn't able to finish all 12 tasks. I would finish 4 and then I would stress myself out asking why I didn't finish all of them, why I'm such a miserable person. I didn't fail actually, I just planned too much. My perfectionism will kick off and I will overestimate how much I can do, underestimate how much time is needed to do that, punish myself for not being productive enough, and getting upset if something external will destroy my plans. What truly helped me was getting more realistic expectations. For example, planning more or longer breaks during the day, setting up more time to complete certain tasks, especially if they are complex or I don't know how to start, so there is a great chance I will procrastinate on them, simply so that I will help myself and I wouldn't feel pity at the end. Of course, you can always start with the simple system of planning one important task, one medium and one small. All the rest tasks are optional, because when you are focused and determined on smaller amounts of tasks, you actually get them done. You actually finish them and don't stress yourself. So flexible and not tight schedules are not lazy, they are anxiety friendly. And even when your life is more or less stable, there are always those moments when everything falls apart. Your bills are unpaid, you have problems at work, in your relationship, you don't know how to solve something, your health is not the best, and there's so much going on in your head. And your brain interprets all of this as equal threats that are coming from every corner on you. But one of my wise friends told me, one crisis at a time. If you try to handle everything at once, you will burn out. If you ignore everything, you will feel bad because you don't have control over your life. So what you should do is pick only one problem, fix it, and then move to another one. It doesn't matter how big or complex the task is. It can be washing your dishes or answering that one email. What it gives you is a sense of progress, of control, the dopamine of achieving something, and it proves to your brain that you are capable. You can handle everything, you just need to divide this big elephant into small chunks. Of course, for this advice, I highly recommend you writing down on paper everything that bothers you at a specific time, and then from this list, you can actually pick one priority and then move on. Next advice is for those beautiful ladies and gentlemen that have the wildest imagination. Of course, we are talking about fears. Every time I found myself ranting to my therapist that I'm incapable, I will never finish it, I will never do this, I will embarrass myself, I will be so horrible at this job, she will look at me and ask to write 2 columns. The first one is my limited belief or the fear that I have. For example, I was afraid to start a new work position. And on the second column, you need to write the true source of this fear. Because in most of cases, I was stressed not because of some real risks and threats, but of possible imaginary scenarios that might happen. And I found out that mostly my fear is based on my previous bad experience. For example, I wasn't treated nicely at one of my work, and I'm afraid, what if it will happen with my new position? But this is the time when you need to pause and ask yourself, what's the possibility that it will happen? How do I know? How do I know how new people will treat me? I don't. What's more important, when you have these biggest fears written down, ask yourself, what are a couple of steps I can do if it truly happens? Imagine I start at work and people don't treat me well here. What can I do? Maybe talk to them one-on-one and resolve conflicts. Maybe talk to HR. Maybe switch my department or team. Or quit the job. Because the truth is, everything is fixable. You can find solution to every possible problem if it truly bothers you. So write down all of your fears on paper, and once you do it, I bet your fears already lost some power. Now, as you see them, you can think more clearly and decide what is it that you can actually do with them. You switch from your inner child that is panicking and doesn't know what to do to your inner adult who is responsible, caring, and tells you, I got it, I protect you, you will be safe. I will make sure you will live your best possible life. And the last piece of advice for today is stop caring what other people might think of you. I know it's not maybe directly related to anxiety, but it only seems so on the surface. Let me explain. It was my first working day and I left my bag in the office one and I needed to go to second office. Apparently, it took me way longer to stay in the second office, and once I was done with all of my stuff and came back to the first office, it was locked. And guess what? I didn't receive my security card yet, so I couldn't even enter the building. I was so scared, not of the situation itself, but of what other people can think of me. My colleagues would probably think I'm stupid, I'm irresponsible, I'm childish. Why they even hired me? I am so doomed and pathetic. This is what my inner critic told me. But since I know myself so much, I told my inner critic to shut up. I knew that if I would continue thinking what other people might think of me, I will never be able to ask for their help because I don't want to embarrass myself. But what's really important is to find solution. I started knocking the doors. I asked the security guy if he has the spare card. I started calling my manager outside of working hours. And when I came back to knock the doors for the second time, a miracle happened, and one of my colleagues who was staying late actually opened the door for me. I was so revealed when I was going home with my bag, knowing that I am so proud of myself, that I didn't panic, but I said, okay, what are the possible steps that I can do to solve the problem? Because at the end of the day, it's all that matters. What are tangible steps that I can do? So don't be scared, don't judge yourself and think how it even happened at the first place. Just switch to your solving problem. That's all from me for today, and let me know in the comments which of this advice or layers of anxiety resonated with you the most. And also let me know if you want a separate video on how to reduce overstimulation, because I feel that all of us need to know it nowadays. See you in my next video. Ciao!